Good morning. First of all, I would like to apologize Mrs. Marianne Gillet from Airbus Helicopters. She could not come to this symposium. So she's replaced by one of my colleagues, Nicolas Giraudon. So we will present on behalf of both companies the result of the activities we have performed. So briefly, I'm not sure most of you know Aegisavia. Aegisavia is part of a large group called Aegis. It's a large company with almost 14,000 people worldwide. We provide supports in consultancy, engineering, and in operations. So we are structured in business units. We work for the aviation business unit. And as part of these activities, for instance, we operate some airports in Europe, South America, Asia. And we also work for several customers. We are more on the fixed-wing aircraft domain, but we also have some activities for rotorcraft. And a few years ago, one of my other colleagues presented the results for a project called Garden for the Clean Sky GU as well. So let's start for this project. So the presentation deals with the EVO concept, meaning equivalent visual operations. So in the past, Airbus Helicopters has worked on several projects dealing with new vision systems, but mainly focused on the technical perspective in terms of sensors, display, data, and so on. There was a first initiative to try to develop a concept of operations for this, how the system can be used to enhance rotorcraft operations, but it has not been pursued in detail. So they launched new activities, and in which they contracted us to support them in defining how these new vision systems could be used to enhance rotorcraft operations. So the objective is to define how the system could be used in all phases of flight for departures, cruise, and approach, for IFR, VFR, and mainly in case of degraded visual environment. Airbus Helicopters has assessed the accidents in which some of their aircraft were involved over the last 15 years, and in 16% of the accidents, the bad visibility was either the cause or a contributing factor. And when considering only the fatal accidents, the percentage increases to 40%. So this is the objective the main objective of these new operations is to enhance safety. If there can be some other benefits such as availability, this will be done. But it will be the approach we followed is a stepped approach, and we mostly focused on safety first. And the EVO concept is not fully new. It's already defined for fixed-wing aircraft, but it's more to be defined for rotorcraft. So the methodology used to try to define these operations. So we developed what we call a concept of operations with the identification of the most suitable application for EVO. And to support that, Airbus Helicopter had a lot of exchanges with some operators for different types of operations, VIP, AMs, police, and to try to identify how such new vision systems could enhance operations and what kind of benefits could be achieved. And so based on that, so we try to identify the most relevant applications for these new vision systems and assess their feasibility from two perspectives, a safety one, so it would be a first safety assessment, and a regulatory perspective as well. So there are plenty of new vision systems. So we selected two of them. On the next slide, I will give you more information on these two systems, so-called EVS for enhanced vision systems and synthetic vision systems for SVS. So after this, we try to consolidate all the potential use in 3 different scenarios to focus our activity. There are other vision systems, for instance, the CVS, which combine EVS and CVS and SVS. But again, the scope was very large at the beginning, and so this is why we decided to focus on a few systems and few operations. We could not cover all activities and all systems from start. So the vision systems, the two ones that we assessed in this project, so they are different by nature. The type of image provided to the pilots differs. So for the EVS, this is the real image the pilot can see outside, on top of which some additional information are displayed. By opposition, for the SVS, the image comes directly from a database with terrain and obstacle. So it's a totally synthetic image, and it's different from what the pilot can see outside. So both solutions provide benefits and drawbacks. And in terms of limitations, for EVS, the information that will be displayed to the pilot depends on the completeness of the sensors, and the capabilities for the sensors to detect all obstacles. And this may vary, for instance, depending on the weather. Whereas for SVS, the integrity and completeness of the database is directly linked with the information that will be provided to the pilots. In terms of display for the pilot, how it will be shown to the pilots, so there are two types. More or less what for EVS, you can have two possible implementations. So it's on a wearable head-mounted display. Whereas for SVS, what we assume is it will be a head-down display, where by opposition with the head-up display for EVS. So now an overview of the activities that we conducted. So as I mentioned before, Airbus performed several workshops with their customers. They tried to identify the main expectations, needs, potential benefits that they could, but it was really a full, they tried to collect as much as possible information. On our side, in parallel, we performed a regulatory review of all the topics related to EVO, to see if it's, from a regulatory perspective, can be easily implemented. So we reviewed the EASA regulation, FAA regulation, ICAO, and it's not a big surprise, there were some differences between all these regulations. So, but based on this regulation review and initial inputs, we've developed the first version of the concept of operations, identifying three scenarios and a full list of use cases. The use cases were more detailed, specific operations. They covered IFR and VFR operations, so mainly VFR operations, but for different kind of operations, for police operation, for AMS. We had a use case in case of inadvertent IMC. So we tried to cover different operations. And so we identified the most consolidated use cases that were assessed from a safety perspective. So the safety perspective was at the functional level. It was not a system safety assessment already, but the objective was to try to identify some first safety requirement and have some initial idea about the design assurance level. So the design assurance level is not that stringent based on the way the operations are defined. In fact, in the concept of operation, the objective is for the EVO information to be used by pilots in addition to what he can see outside. So it's not a substitution for the real image by the new image. So this is a major mitigation mean that allow to have not that critical requirement on the system. And the same, as a first step, we didn't change the current minima. So this helps also in having not so stringent requirements on the system. So based on the safety assessment, so we refined all the scenarios and use cases in the concept of operations. And so at the end, we end up with a detailed scenario and use cases and a list of potential validation activities to be performed by Airbus. We will come back on that later. So this is only, as we mentioned, the first step of a long process in developing the EVO function. Based on during the concept of operations update, we also performed the regulatory monitoring because there is a lot of processes in updating regulations. So we try to keep updated on what has changed. And the objective was, at the end, to identify all the gaps in the regulation based on the concept of operations and the current regulation, what has to be added in the regulation to allow EVO operations. And so there are a list of proposals, so we are not, it's not requirements. For many of them, additional validation activities are needed, but at least the idea was to try to identify what document has to be updated and what kind of modification has to be put in this document to allow EVO operations. And for instance, for ICAO, it affects Annex 6 and the PANSOPs, for EASA, aircrew document. So we have a list of regulatory change. And finally, the last task we performed, as you will see in the rest of the presentation, so for the IFR part, there will be some possible change in the procedures. So we also developed some guidelines for the procedure design, taking into account the new specificities introduced with the use of the EVO equipment. And this could also be used by Airbus helicopters for the next steps if they want to perform some simulations. This would give them some ideas on how to develop the scenarios and the procedures to be simulated. So this is done for me, and I leave the floor now to my colleague. He will present you in detail now the scenarios, the most operational part of the project.
Good morning. So, sorry. As I said, I will now present the different scenarios that have been developed within the frame of the project for the use of the EVO, and starting with the scenario in VFR. So this is maybe the most important one because we know that most of the helicopter operations are performed on VFR, and at the moment, there is nothing in the regulation regarding the use of the EVO for VFR. So initially, it was discussed about the possibility to use the EVO to reduce the VMC minima. However, this possibility was rejected for several reasons, but the main one is that through the discussion with the operators or pilot during the different workshops, it doesn't appear that there was a strong expectation for this reduction because we wanted to keep the margins of the VMC minima, and so that the EVO would mostly be seen as a safety enhancer. So this is the reason why. And so this is the objective that we have here. So it would be to use the use of the EVO would allow pilot to use in VFR, in degraded visual environment, because as I said before, this is one important cause of accident. Two from onshore platform. In fact, we have only focused on onshore platform for this project. It doesn't mean that the equipment cannot be used for offshore, but we had to limit the scope. So, in degraded visual environment to improve the safety and confidence of the pilot. So this is really a safety enhancer. I think that goes to the roadmap presented yesterday of the increase of the safety. And it would be used to maintain the visual reference with the surface, so to prevent spatial disorientation, and also to support the obstacle detection, so to avoid the collision with the obstacle. The second bullet is reflecting something that could be a little bit of operational improvement. In fact, during the discussion with the operators, it appears that some operators take additional margins in addition to the VMC minima. as a kind of safety buffer. And in fact, the use of the EVO could be a way, could allow to reduce a little bit this additional safety margin, for sure without compromising the safety, but flying closer to the VMC minima with full confidence again. So the system is mainly a safety enhancer, but with possibility some little bit of increase of the operational domain with that. So as said before, we have developed a set of use cases in addition to the scenario. The objective of these use cases were to illustrate what could be the use of the EVO for different operations during different flight phases, takeoff, approach, landing, transit, and also to illustrate the difference of use between the SVS and the EVS. So really they were used to refine the concept. And what appears when defining these use cases is that the usage will be pretty much the same for all these use cases. In fact, the main principle is that the system is not permanently used during the flight. It is only activated when there is a specific degraded visual environment. Because particularly for the head-up display, this could impact this could cause fatigue for the pilots, and so a full activation during the flight would not be maybe really efficient. So it's only based on an activation when needed, and when it is activated, it is used, as I said before, to maintain the visual reference with the surface and to detect the obstacle. Something important regarding the usage is that, and this is something also that appeared from the safety workshop that we've performed, is that this usage is based on a permanent cross-check between the natural vision and the EVO vision. The flight is not connected with only the EVO vision, but this is just an additional information, and so there is a need to cross-check the natural vision and the EVO vision. This is something that was important, and as said before by Eric, that allowed to reduce the severity of, for instance, the display of misleading information, and then reducing the designations level on the equipment. So this is something important, I think, also for the training, and as an initial step, this could lead to this would be feasible with equipment of lower designations level. So that was for scenario one, let's say purely safety enhancer. Then we have developed a second scenario for the use of the EVO in support to pins approach operation. So in current regulation, there are something about the use of the EVO for IFR approach, but nothing dedicated to helicopter operation and more particularly to pins operation. So this is why we decided to focus on this specific operation. And again, we have to limit the scope, so we focus on a specific type of pins approach operation, so the one with direct visual segment and with a descent point, but I will present on the next slide. But in summary, the usage of the equipment would be to allow to continue the approach after the pins and until the descent point, even without the natural visual reference of the platform, but with an EVO visual reference of the platform. Okay, no reduction of, sorry, the second bullet is there is an issue because VMC minima are not required for this kind of operation. This is specific operating minima for the pins proceed visually. But again, this is not reduction of the operating minima with implementation of the EVO, but just that we would allow to obtain the visual reference with the EVO rather than with the natural vision. So I will present a little bit on next slide. So this is a pins approach procedure with a descent point. So this is a side view of the procedure. This is the current operation, so not the one with the EVO. So what we can see is that we have two flight phases, the instrument flight phase prior to the pins, and then the visual flight phase. And after prior to the pins, the pilot needs to see, to obtain the visual reference with the platform to be allowed to continue, otherwise he has to perform the missed approach. And what is lighted here is the descent point, as I said before. So this is a specific case. You can see below the visual flight phase in purple that there is an obstacle clearance surface. So there is a little bit of protection by procedure design for this phase of flight. And you need to ensure that below the visual trajectory there is no obstacle. And if there are, the procedural designer can have to create a descent point. That is the point where the aircraft is allowed to start the descent to ensure sufficient separation with the obstacle. So this is the current procedure, and this is just to illustrate what I said before regarding what could be the usage of the EVO. It could be to allow to, let's say, only obtain the EVO visual reference of the platform at the missed approach point, and then to continue on this segment between the missed approach point and the descent point with only an EVO vision of the platform, not with the natural vision. And the natural vision would be only required at the descent point. So this is a little bit of increase of the operational domain, because in fact, if you have a visibility that is not really equivalent to the distance between the platform and the pins, but a little bit lower, you would be allowed to continue and using your EVO image. So this is a little bit of increase. For us, but this is an initial concept. It's still safe, because as I said before, for this visual segment, you still have the protection of the obstacle with the procedure design. So normally you are still above the obstacle. But again, this is an initial concept. This concept also raised the need for something new. For instance, you can see an EVO missed approach, because okay, we say that you're allowed to continue on this segment with the EVO visual reference of the ground. But if you still not have the natural vision of the heliport at the descent point, you have to perform a missed approach. So this is maybe a new missed approach to be created. This is one of the open issues of this concept, because it still needs to be clarified if it is an instrument missed approach, what could be the criteria for the protection of this missed approach, and so on. So there are issues. This one, there is another maybe big issue, not big issue, but seems to be clarified, is that the descent point at the moment is not a coded waypoint. It is just defined at a certain distance from the pins. But maybe with this usage, it could be interesting to code the waypoint in the database and the FMS to ensure certain accuracy when flying this segment. So this is for this scenario. Something interesting, because some possible operational improvement in addition to the safety improvement that we've presented before, but still something to be clarified. And then we have a third scenario, that is the use of the EVO for the pins departure procedure. But as indicated, this is something to be further developed. The level of maturity is not clear. Initially, we discussed about the possibility to allow to climb above the ceiling before the IDF, but it was not so clear if it would be feasible, if it would not compromise the safety. So at the moment, we just have an initial scenario that considers the usage of the EVO on a pretty similar way than the one for the VFR, so just as a safety enhancer. And this is something to be clarified in a later stage. So as a conclusion, so through this definition of this concept of operation and also through the safety assessment, we have a list now of issues, assumptions, and requirements for this different scenario. So for instance, the requirement is it's mandatory to perform the cross-check between the EVO vision and natural vision. The issue are maybe the one relating to the EVO missed approach. So we have this set of issues, assumptions, and requirements. And as it is only an initial concept, we have raised the need for additional validation activities. To address all the open issues, also to address the feasibility, because the concepts that I have presented have not been validated through a real-time simulation or live trial at the moment. So there is for sure a need for these validation activities. I cannot tell more, because at the moment there is no planning for this additional validation activity. This is something that is under discussion in Airbus. And maybe the last point is that this definition of concept was performed in an isolated way, because there was no link with the rule-making task for all-weather operations. So maybe it would be interesting to try to use this as part of the rule-making task of all-weather operation. But this is for next steps. And that's all. Thank you.